you having doubts about your relationship, your marriage? You feel that something's off, but you're not quite sure. And you're in that space of wondering whether there's a future in the relationship that you have or not. And it's worrying time. In today's video, I'm going to share with you three simple steps to explore where you are and what might be the next steps in terms of reaching a decision as to where your relationship is going. My name is Caitriona Ellis. I'm the founder of Financial Wellness Academy, and I've personally experienced this, so I can speak from a first-hand perspective as to when you find yourself in that position of being in a relationship maybe for a long time and you really don't know. I had niggles for a very long time about my relationship, but I had given up my corporate job to be home full time with kids, and I was financially dependent. So I had huge fear around going there, really reaching that decision, delving into it, figuring out what exactly I needed to do. So I held off for a long time. But during COVID, it got to a head, and I realized I couldn't put my head in the sand anymore on it. So the first step I would say around this to trying to figure out what's actually going on is to listen to your instinct. So maybe you've had those niggles, and you want to dig into them a little bit more. And depending on your own perspective, you may use different tools to do that. Things that I found worked really well for me were journaling. So just teasing out with pen and paper as to what my thoughts were, what I thought, what was happening, the things that were kind of going through my head, meditating. So having that time and space just to think, maybe some guided meditations specifically around relationship that prompt your thoughts and get you to answer some questions that maybe will be insightful. And paying attention in your day-to-day life as to what's actually happening. So when you're interacting, what is it that's happening? Where is it that you're clashing? Where do you see the misalignment? Where do you see the lack of resonance? And just really almost like a third party observing what is going on, as almost as if you're just detached from the situation. And that can be really insightful, reading lots of books as well. So once you, first of all, take the time to listen to your instinct and watch what's going on, then you can almost gather the information, the observations that you have had, and take some time to reflect and review. And this might look different to you. It might involve conversations with other women who have been through it, people that you trust, whose values are aligned to yours, who you can have an open conversation about how you're feeling about this. And really take the time to dive into it, because reality is it's highly unlikely this is going to go away. You may be able to stick your head back in the sand after doing step one, but the chances are it's going to rear its head again, because it's there. And that has been my experience until I actually kind of grasped that nettle and dealt with it. It just continued to niggle and niggle until it was really in my face, and I felt like I had to make a decision. And my personal decision, because of the financial dependence, when I realized, actually, when I reflected and paid attention to what was going on, I thought, actually, maybe it's because I'm financially dependent. Maybe that's causing the lack of resonance, the conflict for me. So I took some time out, created some financial independence for myself, not totally, and then came back and reflected again. And I realized those niggles were still there. So it wasn't the financial dependence that was causing it. So then it came to that point, step three, of where I had to decide. And making that decision is scary. And even thinking about it, I feel emotional myself. I felt that fear, that terror. I was in a marriage about 20 years, over 20 years relationship. I've been with my husband for over half my life. We had three children together, and it felt like an enormous weight. And if I made that decision to divorce, it had implications. If I made that decision to stay, it had implications. The overriding piece for me that made me make the decision I did to divorce was that I knew there was something off. It was more than financial dependence, and I knew instinctively that it was not fixable. And we did try. And I decided that if I made the decision to stay for my kids, I would be actually doing them a disservice. I would be telling them non-verbally that if you're unhappy, stay where you are. That's just the way it is, and that it was not safe for them if they find themselves in a similar position to do that down the road in the future. So I felt in the end, actually making the right decision for me was ultimately going to be the right decision for them, albeit that it was at the time made for very tough conversations, difficult path to navigate, because you are essentially breaking up that family unit and everything that they have been used to. And that's not an easy decision to make, especially if your children are young. So it really comes back to you. So taking those steps, so take your time to listen to your instinct. Use whatever tools you can to really pay attention to what's going on. When you have a feeling for what might be the case, take some time to maybe get mediation, get support, get counseling if you feel that that's helpful, or do what you need to do to get the clarity, talk to other women who have been through the same experience, and then get yourself in a place where you have clarity about what that decision is. That does not mean that you are going, yes, this is absolutely the right decision. It's an emotional roller coaster. You will feel a lot of big feels around this, this huge sense of loss for everything that you had together, that you're about to walk away, for everything that you plan together in the future, for the impact on your kids. It is a massive emotional piece. So to help you navigate that, I would say there are two key pieces. Make sure you're looking after yourself. This is a tough road to go. And make sure that you've got some good support in place. So you've got some family, some friends around you who can hold you up on those days where you feel that your chest is crushing in, you're struggling to breathe, your level of anxiety is through the roof. Know that you've got people that you can pick up the phone to, you can call in to for a cup of tea and have that conversation. They will hold you and hold space for you until you come through the other side. And it does get lighter and brighter as you know it's reinforced because you've made the right decision. So I hope this was helpful for you. Please feel free to reach out to me if there's anything I can do to further support you. I'm going to have a couple of other videos in this space subsequently next week and the week after. So watch out for some other pieces on this to help support you as you navigate this. Thanks for your time and good luck, whatever decision you make.